A strike to the heart. I stood in the doorway of our kitchen, still in my work overalls, the smell of construction clinging to me, lunchbox in hand. Exhaustion from a long day weighed on my shoulders, but I froze when I heard laughter from our daughter's room. My wife, Christina, and 17-year-old Emily were laughing together. "Mom, you are something else." Emily giggled, admiration clear in her voice. "3 different guys. How do you even keep up?" "Sweetheart, variety is life," Christina replied, lightly teasing. "Your father is like an old recliner, comfortable but boring. 18 years of the same thing. Sometimes a woman needs something new." My lunchbox clattered to the floor. I felt my head spin, blood pounding in my temples. Christina, oblivious, continued. "Jake from across the street. He's so confident, not like your dad. Mike from work. He knows how to make a woman feel alive. And Alex from the gym, let's just say, he never tires." Leaning back against the wall, I felt the world tilt. 18 years of marriage, 18 years grinding away at 2 jobs to provide while my wife found herself at home. The dark truth: 3 hours later, I was sitting in my old Chevy parked across from our suburban home. The streets I helped build stretched out before me. Jake lived 2 houses down with his wife Sarah. Mike lived across the street. I fixed their furniture regularly, helped with renovations, and they were sleeping with my wife. My phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. "Dawn, we need to talk." Sarah. I stared for a moment, then replied, "When? Now?" She responded instantly, "At the cafe on Elm Street, 20 minutes." Sarah was already there when I arrived. Her usually neat hair was disheveled, eyes red swollen from crying. She slid a folder across the table. "What's this?" I asked, voice tight. "Open it." Inside were photos: Christina with Jake in our bedroom, with Mike in their sauna, with some other guy I didn't know in a hotel room. Also a flash drive. "Video?" I asked, and she nodded. Jake thought he was clever, recording everything on his phone. "I discovered the collection last week." My hands steadied. Inside, I burned. First moves: the next morning, I took time off both jobs and drove downtown. I entered a sleek law firm, Adams and Partners, where I met attorney Jason Adams, younger than expected but sharp. I explained, "My wife is cheating with multiple men. I want to make sure she can't claim half of what I built." He took the folder from Sarah, browsed through it, and raised an eyebrow. "These are significant proofs. Well, set you up an LLC today. Move your assets before filing anything. She wants suspect a thing." His assistant, Lavra, put me through stacks of paperwork, new bank accounts, transfers, precise, silent, legal protection. "Most men act emotionally," she said at the end. "-1 done acting on emotion," I replied. "It's time to act." Conversation with our daughter that evening. I knocked on Emily's bedroom door. "Can we talk?" She looked up, phone in hand, surprised but nodded. I sat on the bed, searching for the right words. "I know about your mom." Her face went pale. "Dad, I am not mad at you," I interrupted. "But you must understand, what your mom is doing is not empowerment, it's betrayal. And actions have consequences." She looked down, tears in her eyes. "She said you didn't care, that you were too weak to I raised you." "Sweetheart," I said softly, "not indoctrinated you into her ideas. Don't let her poison your view of loyalty." I stood to leave, then paused. "I love you, Emily. But I won't pretend our family is not broken." The barbecue that changed everything. Christina returned an hour later, humming like in the early years. Beaming. "Hi, honey, lunch went fine," she chirped. "How about your day?" I asked, closing my laptop. "Oh, you know, coffee with friends," she said. "Coffee with friends? We need to talk." My tone stopped her cold. The next morning, she announced a neighborhood barbecue. Neighbor gathering, invited everyone. Jake and Sarah, Mike and Laura. I watched her call everyone, her voice bright, hostess-like. She had no clue what awaited. It was a perfect Saturday, sunny, the yard full of neighbors, kids splashing in the pool. Christina glowed in a sundress, opally flirting with Jake. Then Sarah intervened. The billboard that shook the block Monday morning. Christina screamed, "Dawn, come look." 2 blocks away, a giant billboard loomed. Usually ads for cars or pizza, but this read in bold red, "Christina Adams, family destroyer. Ask her about Jake, Mike, and Alex." Their wives know the truth. The whole block slowed down to read. Cars honked. Neighbors took photos. Who did this? Dawn, you have to fix this. She demanded. Fix what? I replied calmly. Which part is untrue? She looked at me as though I'd become a stranger. For the first time, I spoke back. I'm going to work now, I said, and left. The fall of Christina that evening, I found her crying on the sofa. School called, she said quietly. Parents want Emily off the cheer team. What did you tell them? I asked. What could I say? Dawn, help me. Please. I'll do anything. Anything? I repeated, yes. I'll stop. I'll see a therapist. We could move. Just stop this. I looked at her. You should stopped 6 months ago before you decided I was too weak to matter. Her face lost hope. So it's revenge, she whispered. I'm not doing anything now. Christina, I said. I just stopped protecting you. That night, I moved to the guest room. Next morning, I planned to call the real estate agent about the house. But first, I went to thank Sarah. She opened the door in slippers, wet hair. You did the billboard? I asked. She nodded. My sister owns a billboard company. She came up with some leverage. Thanks, I said. No thanks necessary, it's just the start. Final moves the next morning. I signed final documents, assets safely under the LLC. When Christina came over with papers, furious, you can't do that. She screamed. I already did, I said. They were hours past tense. She called me a monster. I packed documents and left, telling her a divorce notice would come tomorrow. 3 days later, Lavra called. Dawn, this is Big. Christina's ex's lawyer served a $60,000 emotional damages lawsuit. I almost dropped the phone. Can she pay? With this evidence, photos, recordings, witnesses, chances are good. That evening I had my first real meal in weeks. A message arrived. Saw the lawsuit. Nice move, N. I replied, this is just beginning. Then, want to finish this? Tomorrow. Same place. The controlled collapse. I met with my sister-in-law Nissa, another ally, in a bar. She laid out everything. Christina thinks she can flip the story, cast you as the villain. Not on our watch. She showed messages, Christina calling her sister morally superior, dismissing me as a shadow. Audio of her calling Sarah a knave fool. And chats with Alex about milking me dry. She clings to her image, Nissa said. We strip it entirely. They planned a coordinated release of these materials, timed just before her scheduled interview with the local TV. I felt it was more than revenge. It was obliteration. The turning point, but that evening, my phone buzzed links to public posts with the audio recording of Christina's conversation with her sister. Under local hashtags, Truth About Christian. The story exploded, comments accusing her hypocrisy. That night at 9:55 p.m., the station aired a breaking news segment. We planned an exclusive interview with Christina Adams, but just hours before airtime, new materials surfaced, casting doubt. We must postpone until verification. They showed footage of Christina, pale and wearing a hospital gown, reporting shed had an overdose of sleeping pills with psychiatric supervision. Her credibility shattered. I turned off the TV. Was this what Nissa wanted? Controlled collapse? Aftermath. Christina spent 3 days hospitalized. I didn't visit. Emily did. She came back exhausted and older. How is she? I asked after Emily's second visit. Broken, she said softly. She keeps asking if you were behind it. I called Lavra and Jason. People are questioning our tactics. Did we go too far? She tore apart for families, Jason replied. Yes, but a hospital. Was it intentional? No. But the fear is, if evidence of coercion, billboard, social media campaign is seen as coordinated, you could lose everything. He urged me to disappear, lie low, escape, return, and final confrontation. I fled to a friend's rural cabin. Food, trees, solitude. For 2 weeks, I tried to find clarity, but phone calls of reporters, contract whispers, kept me awake. Then I got word. Christina was back in town with a bodyguard who looked like trouble. I returned late at night. My apartment lobby was silent. Upstairs, I saw her silhouette on the balcony. Then a text, come up. We need to talk, Belle. I met Stas' friend and Muscle in my parking lot. I told him, if this ends badly, disappear. In my apartment, Christina sat in my favorite chair, calm, her hair shorter, darker, eyes sharper. Her guard stood nearby. "Hello, Don," she said. "Didn't expect to see you," I replied. "Of course you did. You never let me go." She stood and paced like a predator. "You think you wrecked me? Billboard, social media fallout, people quitting me, losing my job. You did it." Her guard shifted. I noticed a holster. "I was faithful," I said, "until you decided I was weak. I took what I wanted," she spat. For the first time in my life, I grabbed what felt right. The guard moved forward. "Let's wrap this up," he said. "Not yet," she said. "We're not done." She produced a folder, photos of me with Nissa, calls with Lavra, bank logs of suspicious deposits. A dossier. "You were busy too," she said. "Mom, are we done?" The guard prompted. She gathered the folder. "Here's the deal. You send half your protected assets back. Public apology for the campaign. Cover my therapy and expenses until I'm stable. Or these go to police, media, your boss with a statement about you orchestrating this." "You can't prove I organized anything," I said. "I don't need to. Enough to make it plausible." "What do you think your job in construction would do if this came out?" "Laura's job, Jason's firm." She was right. Even a whiff of a scandal would destroy everything. "How much?" I asked. 200,000. Plus apology. "I don't have that. You found money for everything else." "I need time. Until tomorrow, 8 p.m. Our old house. Bring a check." "Alone." They left. I called Stas. He confirmed they left. "What now?" he asked. "Final decision, Stas and I met in a cafe." "What will you do?" he asked. "If I pay, she come back for more. If I refuse, she'll blow everything open." He spoke calmly. "In the service, they taught us, sometimes the best fight is the one you avoid, but if it's ahead, strike first. This is my life, not a war." He pulled out a recorder. "She called her guard. If he doesn't pay, make him regret it. Not death, just make him wish head. That was extortion. And I had proof. Go to Jason. Show him. Let him file against her first." The final showdown at 8 p.m. I stood in front of our old house. Folder in hand but no check. Stas waited in his car, ready. Jason had filed to police on the threats and extortion. Christina opened the door, confident. "No bodyguard." "Where's the check?" she demanded. "Not coming," I said. "That was your move." She turned white. "You're making a mistake. You already did, threatening me." She laughed. "Threats? I'm the victim. You ruined my life. I have recording proof. Police knows." Her face dropped. "You're bluffing." "Check." I handed over my phone with the file. She listened. Her certainty cracked. "This doesn't disprove your whole campaign," she whispered. "Maybe. But it shows you weren't the only one crossing legal lines." She looked at me, fear in her eyes for the first time. "What do you want, Don?" "You disappear. Sign the papers. Leave Emily and me alone. And if I refuse, you'll spend years in court and might lose everything." After a long pause, she nodded. "Fine. You win." 1 week later, Christina signed everything. The divorce was final. Assets stayed with me. The lawsuit was settled. She moved to the Midwest, and I never heard from her again. Emily stayed with me, but her look grew heavier. She blamed herself for not stopping her mother sooner. I assured her it wasn't her fault, but the words felt hollow. Sarah called a month later. "How are you, Don?" "Living," I replied. "And you?" "Trying to start over. You know, revenge isn't sweet like people say." "Yeah," I agreed. "Sometimes it's just survival." I returned to work, my quiet apartment, trying to rebuild. But whenever I pass by where that billboard once stood, I remember how it all started and wonder, was it justice? Or just a war where no one won?